It worries my next guest. We have New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Congressman, thanks for taking the time. This does have a big brother feel to it, Congressman. What do you want to do about it?
Absolutely, it does. And just before I start, I want to wish all my family, all the Italian Americans, and everybody else out there a happy Columbus Day coming up there. I didn't want to forget about them. You're right. This is a big brother feel. This is something that is foolish. It is a bad requirement. And as you know, I've done legislation which would prohibit any new reporting requirements to the IRS. I mean, what is the kid that cuts grass? Or the young lady or gentleman that may be babysitting? Are we literally going to make them report too? It's going to hurt banks. It's going to hurt businesses. It's going to hurt working people, which working people are literally the rock that this nation is built on. And this administration literally wants to find blood in that rock. They just don't stop. Every day it's something new, and every day it's something bad. And this is real bad. And quite frankly, it's real stupid.
I just wonder how the $600 figure came about. That's almost an everyday transaction for almost everybody. And I'm wondering how that number was arrived at. Do you know?
Well, no, nobody can give me an intelligent, answer to how they arrived at such a small number. First of all, if there are transactions and things going on greater than $10,000, there's a whole reporting process, and there's many levels of reporting that takes place to the IRS already. This is the same IRS that literally couldn't, handle the stimulus checks. We had all kinds of problems with them going out. So now what's going to happen is we're going to find that we're in a situation where we're going to have to hire more people in the IRS and not bring any amount of significant money back into, the coffers. It's just not right. And people are tired of it. They're being tired of taxed to death. They're tired of the whole thing. And they're tired of stupid bills and harmful bills. I think it's a control thing. I think they just want to control more and more of everybody's everyday life. Everything that they're doing, the whole reconciliation bill itself will change this nation in ways that we've never seen before. So this is just another bad piece of it. And it's a particular piece that's going to cause a lot of harm. And I think we all need, and I'm going to get a lot of co-sponsors on this, we all need to really convince obviously Republicans who are already on the right page with this, but Democrats as well, that America doesn't want this. Leave working class America alone, for God's sake, for a change.
You switched from being a Democrat to a Republican. It didn't hurt you in your district. So I think it's a good time to ask how all of that is working out, particularly here on something that among your constituents could affect them regardless of their party affiliation, which seems to indicate that maybe there is a move afoot to, tax people beyond the $400,000 and over crowd by monitoring the $600 transaction and over crowd as well. What do you think?
Well, I do. And, their provisions are going to cause businesses to leave. I mean, in less than a year, Neil, what we have done is literally hurt our energy portfolio. We've increased the crime rate beyond belief. We have new provisions to tax and to create problems and, quite frankly, lose our freedoms. Our border is split open. We have people pouring in. That just doesn't that's like the $600 bill. Makes no sense at all. Why would we do that?
Could I ask you about, let me ask you about this. And obviously, Donald Trump was very encouraged by you switching parties and going Republican. He helped, you in your district. He is planning to attend a big rally tonight in Iowa. Seems to be running for president again, even though he isn't saying that. How do you feel about him and potentially at the top of the ticket in 2024, running again for president?
I hope he does. I hope he does. I know some people have issues, but I don't, because all I know is I'd rather have a few tweets that people didn't like or a few mean tweets as opposed to an economy that is in deep trouble. The relationships that we have on the world stage now, we're not trusted. Afghanistan and the way our exit strategy was. So militarily, fiscally, crime-wise and police-wise, all of these issues, the open borders, provisions like this, the spending that's going on, Neil, we can't keep spending the way that they are. And I know both parties, quite frankly, at times have been guilty of it, but not like this. I mean, just trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars with no real thought to it. And the main goal of it all, and you can really take this to the bank, is to create a new America, a new society. When Nancy Pelosi said, along with Schumer, that they were going to change America forever, they weren't kidding. They want to change it forever. And I will say to you that I believe that most Americans love the America that we've had, that we've known, that we grew up in, and we want to have that opportunity for our children and grandchildren. This is not what we want. It's not what people bargained for. He's not bringing people together. I think there's a lot of buyer's remorse. And I think there's a lot of people who may not have, loved Trump and some of the things he said and did, but really don't like this, because they do love America. So I think there's going to be a change. So I've said I would support him. I will support anybody that has good, solid, conservative credentials, that cares about keeping America. We are on the precipice. We are on the edge. And I'm not kidding. I'm there every day. And we've got to get back. So, that's where I'm at. We just have to do better.
All right. For now, I'm just going to put you down as a maybe on Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi. But we'll see what happens. Kidding, just kidding. I have
Chuck
a very
Schumer and Nancy
warped sense
Pelosi
of
have
humor.
done more harm.
All right, I get it. Thank you, sir. Very good seeing you. Have a good Columbus Day weekend. Jeff Van Drew, the New Jersey now Republican congressman.